And just to kind of share, like I was debanked for an entire year, and that was really rough. And it was over a stupid $500 transaction, and my entire life was kind of locked down. I was blacklisted at the central bank, and what was actually happening was because, well, okay, just make a long story short, there's no um, although the Securities Commission in Malaysia deals with digital assets, they don't touch stablecoins. It's the Central Bank of Malaysia that deals with stablecoins, but the Central Bank of Malaysia hasn't come out with any guidance on stablecoins. And as a result, there's no way to kind of convert in from stable coins into like our local fiat currency in any of the regulated exchanges. So you're forced to use P2P, right? And what happened was that, there was Binance P2P and a bunch of other places that were doing this type of stuff. And basically I accidentally touched over a $500 transaction. I had touched tainted money that someone was scammed of this, $500. Because of this, I was flagged. My whole bank account was frozen for an entire year, and I had a blacklist at the central bank. And even when the police cleared me and said, like, look, there's, you're obviously like, how many layers down, you just got caught and it's like $500. I said, look, could you just like freeze the $500 and let me use the rest of my money there? No, it took many, many months, right? And it was horrible. I still had loans to pay. I still had stuff to do, right? And it was just a nightmare, right? And luckily I had some crypto, right? And even then it was like, okay, I convert crypto to what? I mean, like, yeah, I'm not like Joel who can live totally off crypto. There's hardly any places here that would accept or even have those conversions. But at the same time, I was like, I'm really glad I still have this alternate source of money that isn't seizable, right? And finally, when they released it, I was like, yeah, okay, wow. After 1 year over a $500 transaction, and to get it unfrozen, I had to basically go to the bank and explain almost every single transaction I had for the past year, which was
Right.
ridiculous. They were like, why do you pay so much for this card? I'm like, it's a Magic the Gathering card. I'm like, why are you doing business with your bank account? I'm like, no, it's a hobby. I'm like, yeah, I know I spend a lot on cards, but it's not business, like. And it was just like really like I had to explain to them what Magic the Gathering was, why certain cards were worth like $1,000, and just the granularity that I had to go. I was like, wow, I am living in the surveillance state, right?
Yeah.
And I realized that I could just be cut off from the system like that, and there was nothing I could do with it, right? Like
Yeah.
banks would turn me away. They were like, we can't help you open a bank account because you have this blacklist with the central bank, and
Yeah.
you just have to convince that bank to remove their mark, and then we can consider removing it from the central bank. So it took a whole year, and even now I'm still like on some sort of gray list or stuff like that. But that was like very scary. And similarly, I mean, this was why I got into cryptocurrency, because as a VPN business, I had my money frozen. Like PayPal would freeze my money and say, tell me what you're doing, explain your business model to me. I explained it to them, and they're like, okay, unfreeze. And like, that's like a 1 week of like, what am I gonna do? I've like shit, I have people to pay and whatnot. And then next thing, someone forgets, and then they'll come and freeze my money, a couple of months down the line again. And that's why I'm into crypto, right? I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything illegal. I'm even
Yeah.
paying my taxes, but like it's ridiculous. Like my father brought me up to say, pay your taxes, obey the law, and then you live a very stress-free life because there's nothing to hide. But then, my ex, my experience with government and tax authorities have been always like guilty until proven innocent, right? Like
Yeah.
you freeze my account, you do the investigation, I'm already suffering.
Yeah.
And then when you release me, then what? I don't
Yeah.
get any compensation. I just suffered all this time over one bad transaction, right?
Yeah.
and they were saying like, "Oh," I said, "Can't I talk to someone?" And like, "Oh, there's only 2 people in our bank in the whole of Malaysia that deals with these cases, so you just have to wait your turn."
Yeah.
Amazing, right? So yeah,
Uh,
sorry, that was a bit of a,
no, don't apologize. It's
detour.
good because this is important. Because, like,
Mm.
there might maybe if someone's listening to it is still on the fence, it's like, it's only a matter of time before you've done something wrong, right? It's
Yeah,
not a lot of people think, "Well, I don't do anything wrong. It's not gonna have to be. You're a crypto guy, and so you're doing the shady stuff. That's why it happened to you."
yeah,
It's a slippery slope.
mm,
This is how tyrannies work. This is how genocides happen. It's not instant.
yeah.
It's I don't know how to do it. You just slowly
Yeah, I
go
know.
down
There was
into
that
it, right?
point, right? Like they came after that, and I didn't speak up because it wasn't me. And then next thing, like then there was no one left. So that kind
Exactly.
of,
It's
yeah,
exactly it. This is what we're living in, and, like,
yeah,
so we see it, we get it, and and we have to, evil prevails when good men do nothing, right? And so, we're doing something. We're doing what we can.